So, won't it?
Yeah, we're live. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this evening's chat. Before we get started, if you're joining us this evening, if you want to message or say hello to us, or even ask Mandy any questions, and if you haven't used StreamYard before, can you just, or if you haven't given StreamYard permission to use your name, can you just add your name to the end of the question, please? Else, for us, it will just come up as Facebook user. Please like and share this video or this link this evening, and welcome to anybody that's watching the replay. And this evening, I want to introduce you to Mandy Hall. Hello, Mandy.
Hello.
And Mandy is going to be talking to us this evening about her journey living with functional neurological disorder. Yeah.
It's a mouthful, isn't it? It really is.
It's
a proper mouthful.
Yeah. So FND for short. Yeah. Okay. So can you just tell our listeners, Mandy, a little bit about what FND is?
Of course I can. FND, Functional Neurological Disorder. It is such a mouthful. And yeah, it's a disorder of the nervous system where signals to and from the brain are not sent and received properly.
Yeah.
It can affect anybody of any age. It doesn't discriminate. And it has many symptoms, so it can be hard to diagnose. It mimics MS, it mimics epilepsy, it mimics lots of other conditions, which is why it's so difficult to diagnose. But it's based upon it's a movement disorder, so it's diagnosed based on positive signs of movement disorder. So it could be it mimics Parkinson's as well. So it affects your speech, it affects your movement. You can have weakness. People can be paralyzed by it, and it just comes on out of nowhere. It just you can be fine with it and then calling the next.
Is it something that you could be born with but not triggered until later life, like some illnesses?
There's no research to say that.
Right.
I don't know anybody that's been born with it. There is children that have been diagnosed with it, but it's generally they say it's from trauma, some form of trauma. So it could be a mental trauma or a physical trauma that's triggered your body to do this or your brain to do this.
Okay. So what's the kind of, like you saying, it's the second most common
disorder diagnosed in neurological clinics? Yeah.
Wow. But it's not, I mean, until I heard that you had it, I'd never heard of it.
No, me neither. It's like, you wouldn't think, like when I was going through the process, I thought, I've got nerve pain and stuff, maybe it's MS or, and you hear of these things, so you get tested for these things, and then it's like you get given a bit, it's like, no, it's this. I'm like, well, what's that? You wouldn't get an illness and think, oh, I wonder if I've got FND.
Yeah.
Because even though it's one of the most common conditions in the world, it's really, really unknown.
Yeah. So how long has it been kind of known about?
Yeah, hundreds of years. It's been around for years. Originally, it was known.
Good evening, Anne.
Hello, Anne. Originally, it was it would have been hysteria, and it's also been known as conversion disorder, and then FND, functional neurological disorder.
Cool. So leading up to, well, actually, you were telling me when I had a quick FaceTime with you last week about it, you were kind of telling me some quite really interesting historical things about, like,
so like locally, so we're in Devon, we're in Newton Abbot. Back in World War I, you would have heard of the soldiers being diagnosed with shell shock.
Yeah.
And shell shock was also known as a movement disorder.
Right.
And Devon, locally to us, there's a place called Silhain, and that was the first military hospital in World War One who treated rehabilitated people with shell shock functional movement disorder.
Wow.
So going back then, you know, times haven't really moved on that much from then, but the fact that it was still, it's, you know, it's been around that long and people were still like, really, is that the same thing? And yeah, it is. So I'm struggling with
the back to front.
Yeah.
So leading in your journey then, what was going on in your life and what were you experiencing in your body to begin with before your diagnosis?
So before my diagnosis, I was having other issues because I've got arthritis, but I broke my foot. So I was under the orthopedics to have surgery on my foot, which I chose not to have done. And then I was having other pain. I had neck pain. I'd been working in social health and social care nursing for 20 odd years. And years ago, obviously, when I first started working in healthcare, we never had such thing as hoists and things and equipment to help us move people. So we had to do it manually. So years and years and years of bending over and lifting people, as you'll find a lot of nurses have issues with their backs. And I have issues with my back. And so it started off then, and it's kind of just gradually got worse. But so I was seeking treatment for that. And then, yeah, it's just kind of spiraled out of control because they prescribed me medication that then didn't agree with me. And then I started noticing the tics, which is so mine is very much like, it's similar to Tourette's. So I get like the involuntary movements and the vocal tics, which may come out a bit later.
We apologise now.
Yeah, I apologise if I swear. It's not done purposely. So yeah, it's quite random. It really is. Just like you could be in. I was in. There's a shop that we go into that I don't like very much, but we go in there quite often, and it sets me off. So can you imagine having like really. If you've got a child with autism who's got sensory processing disorder, where somebody with FND has it as well. So if you go into a supermarket, you've got all the lights and all the noises and the smells and the crowded places. It really sets me off, and people look at you like as if you're drunk. It's proper random. I know when it first started happening, I was in Sainsbury's in Torquay. And my husband gave me a supermarket trolley, and I was just bouncing it up and down, and I just couldn't stop it. It was just like proper random. He's like, just stop it. I was like, I can't. And he took it off me, and then I was just walking around clapping. And it's just like, it's just so random. But I suppose it's like anxieties, and it's like, somebody's watching me. Oh my God, what's going to happen? And then all these stresses kicking in, and it's setting me off. It sets you off, and you just can't control it unless you leave or move yourself away from that situation, so you've got time to calm down, and then you can relax and take yourself away from that situation so it doesn't happen. But as human beings, our lives are full of stress, and we have so many stresses in our lives, we can't get rid of everything, you know. And then it's the case with FND. It's working through that, working out what's triggering your movements and what's triggering your attacks, and then living with it, just learn to live with it like any other illness.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's so spontaneous with FND because you're not born with it. You don't have it straight away. You can't learn to live with it. You kind of get thrown into the deep end, and you have to learn with something so severe from like the onset of it that it's shocking. It's just
So when you were having was it muscle tics you had to start with, did you say?
I put it down as like, when you're just starting to fall asleep and your body goes like that. It's like that.
Like your legs jump.
Yeah. So like a little involuntary movement or a little tick.
Yeah.
It started off like that, and then I was like, oh my god, my foot's moving. They're like, no. I was like, it is moving. And then just like one evening back in 2018, it was in December, coming up to Christmas, so loads of stress going on with Christmas and all presents and everything. And then the next minute I was like started shouting out really random and like moving around and flapping, thinking, oh my god, what's going on? And my friend that was here thought I was having some kind of seizure. My face started dropping, so she thought I was having a stroke. But we phoned the doctor and they're just like, I was like, what's going on? And they just like, nothing, don't worry about it. There's nothing. And I had to beg them for sedatives, but it wasn't until the following day that I went in to the GP, which was completely shocking. I went in with my parents and I was still moving and jerking. I couldn't get myself dressed. My mum had to come around to get me dressed and everything. And I went in, I was sat in the waiting room shouting out, went in to see the doctor, and he goes, you've got behavioural problems, it's behavioural.
Wow.
Like got up, opened the door and asked me to leave. And I was like, sorry, are you serious? Would somebody physically try and do this to themselves? Just what?
Yeah.
I just couldn't get my head around it. It's just like, it's insulting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why on earth would you do that?
Yeah.
It's horrible. But it's
how long did you suffer from when you noticed things weren't quite right to your actual diagnosis?
It was probably about 3 months, but it wasn't until I started having, it was about January when I started having seizures, and I was having multiple up to 60 plus seizures a day, physical ones on the floor, completely uncontrollable. And the ambulance driver came and said, oh yeah, I don't know what that is. And I was just like, I just need something to stop it. I can't stop it, and so I went into hospital and they said, oh, you're gonna have to sit in the waiting room. And I'm like, I'm having seizures and you want me to sit in the waiting room with all these people? I said, I'd rather just go home. I said, I'm not sitting here and then having people going, oh, you're okay, whilst I'm on the floor having a seizure, having to wait with everybody else. I was like, no. So they moved me into a place. It's called Fit to Sit, I think it was called. So they moved me into a private area, and basically just left me there for about 3 hours before somebody came to talk to me. And they said, oh, what can I do for you? And I was like, I was still having seizures. And he's like, oh, okay, right, stay there a minute. And then they had to go and find a stretcher to get me to lay down to have this sedative, because it was such a strong one. It drops your blood pressure and everything. And then I was sent home at 4 o'clock in the morning. They came in and said, right, there's nothing we can do. You can get home now. And it's at 4 o'clock. I was like, I'm sorry, but I was told that I'd be seeing neurology in the morning, and you're sending me, there's nothing we can do. We'll phone you a taxi and you can go home. Wow. And I was still high on sedatives. So I was like, what? Yeah. I was absolutely knackered. You physically beating yourself up. Why would you do that? And why would people treat me like that? And just like, yeah, it's horrible.
Exactly. Do you think this would be, like, talking about your seizures, do you think this would be a good time to show?
You can do, yeah. Oh, just to warn everybody, if there's anybody who's watching, this is a trigger, so just
yeah. So just bear with me, because I've never shared a screen before, so let's see what we can do here. It's going to play. That's typical.
Do you want me to try share from my side?
Yeah, go on. Oh, there we go. Is it sharing?
I'm having a look. It's kind of still doing the thingy.
It's still going around.
Yeah.
Let's. I can hear it in the background. There we go.
Oh, yeah. So this video is here. This is how my seizures were to start off with.
It's not wanting to play, is it? Let's try another one. If I can get back.
Lovely picture of my back there.
Oh,
legs in the air.
Right, I'm just gonna. My internet today has been so funny. It's I don't know what's going on with it. Can you find one on your end, Mandy?
Okay, let me have a look. Where does this say? Share screen. Okay. Share screen. Oh, can you see that? Is that sharing? Can
No, not yet. Not yet. No.
Okay. What I may have to do. Oh. What can you see on your screen? Have you done it?
I've got your screen up, so you just need to click on something.
No. Right, okay, so I need to go into, wait a minute, I'm sharing Facebook, so wait a minute, I need to stop that one. You don't want to see that one. Right, okay, let me see if I can get YouTube up.
This is the joys of going live, isn't it?
It's all good. Oh, who's that? Somebody's phoning me now. Decline. It's all exciting. Right.
It is. Let me try again.
No, it's right. I can get my videos. Here we go.
Can you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, I don't want to do it. Right, so I need to go into that. Share screen. Share screen. Share screen. Boop, boop, boop. Right, at the moment, right, okay. Right, can you see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Right, can you see that I'm on my videos?
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
There we go.
Can you see this? Yeah?
Yeah. Was this about the time you said that you were having up to 56
I was having
a day?
up to 60 plus of these a day.
That's a lot, isn't it, a day?
Yeah. How, and then, like, just how why would you put this on? Why would a doctor turn around and say, look, you're faking this? Why would just why? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was that's 60 plus a day of them. Did you want me to show you some of the others?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is somebody else, sorry. Let me just turn that one off. Need to go back, don't I?
There was one of you in your life.
Yeah, this one, yeah. So this was very early on as well. So just me being quite frustrated.
Yeah.
This still happens. This can happen when I'm out in the car as well. So
I suppose you've had to give up driving?
Yeah, you have to give up driving. I've been declared medically unfit to work.
Yeah.
So I couldn't keep taking time off work. To just it's too dangerous. It's so unpredictable. And some days, I mean, yeah, I'm having a good day today, but can you imagine having a day where you're having seizures, you're on the floor, you can't move, and your body's completely, yeah, just you just can't do it.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating, really is.
Yeah. And tiring. I
Oh
should
my
imagine it's
God, yeah.
physically tiring.
Oh my God, yeah. Because we getting cross and fed up with it, you know, it's just, yeah. I mean, that is, that's, I'll show you what, like I said, I've got lots on it. You can all go to watch them on what's it. I have been shown kind of, sometimes it's funny, sometimes it isn't, you know. You just be completely paralyzed. This one here that I'm about to share, this was the actual night that it started. And this, when I videoed this, because the only way I managed to get diagnosed was by getting my husband Brad to video everything, and then we took it to the neurologist, and that's how I got my diagnosis, was through my video. So this was the actual night that it started, and at this point I was so knackered and my speech had gone. In the background you can hear my autistic son mimicking me, but this is the head.
Right.
So this is like this little seizure. This was like the start of my seizures. So this was the night before I went to the doctor, and the doctor said that I had behavioural issues. So, I mean, this is 3 years ago. I was like, how can you say that you've got behavioural issues, you know? It's like, that's my son. Bless him, mimicking. So, because it doesn't just affect you, it affects your whole family as well, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just, it's, okay, are we back? I think we are. It's just so frustrating. It's like, but like I said, the family, they've had to learn to live it as well. And just, I think the big thing for me was when I was first poorly, I was like, oh my God, I can't be mum again.
Yeah.
It breaks your heart, and especially when your daughter's coming up to you saying, Mum, why can't you be normal? Why can't you go back to being normal?
Yeah.
The way we used to be, where we used to go for coffee and we'd go out and do girly stuff, and you can't do that anymore. Or I'd take her to school and then pick her up, and it would be a normal day, but instead I was picking her up and doing skipping around the playground, and everybody's like, what's wrong with her, sort of thing, you know? People ask, don't they? They ask questions. And I think to start off with, you're like, oh, I don't want people to keep asking me questions, you know? They're like, oh, what have you done today? It's like, no, I haven't done anything today. It's just a bad day.
Yeah.
I'm used to it now, but people that newly diagnosed people are still having to go through this mourning process, because you grieve your own self.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, if you go back to like what we were talking before about being born with an illness and a disability and being born disabled, you have your whole life to grieve, and then this is thrown upon yourself, so you don't have time. You do grieve your own self, and you learn to kind of understand how people have been living with a disability all their lives.
Yeah.
And how well they've done and how brilliant they are. And how
I kind of had this conversation with Samara. Samara came on to talk about her bipolar, and she saw Oliver, who, if anybody's watching, Oliver is my youngest son, he is autistic as well, but he was born with cerebral palsy, and she saw him as an inspiration, because he, you know, she looks at him, if he can get up every day, then so can I. But I tried to explain to her it's quite something different because she's only been diagnosed 3 years with her bipolar, whereas Oliver, he doesn't know any different because he was born with the condition. To him, he's normal. He hasn't had to learn to adjust like somebody like you have to, or like she would do. So yeah,
They don't know any different.
no,
That, you know, you don't. That's their norm, if you know what I mean. Any kind of norm. So like this learning to live with an illness or disability or being disabled, this is now our new norm. And it's grieving that you won't be that other person, but you're still that person.
Yeah.
You're just gonna be that person but doing it differently.
Yeah.
Like I'm still gonna be mum. I'll always be mum. I'm just going to mum differently. So on a bad day, I may need them to help me. I may need my daughter to come in and get me dressed. She's had to learn to put me in the recovery position so I don't choke.
Some of the ones that Emily's in, she's a little dark and she's really caring and she's like your little personal nurse, isn't she? Like,
she's a madam.
So, I mean, yeah, but I mean, it must be hard on them having to adjust to seeing you not being the old Mandy.
No, I know, it's completely. And Mr. Hall will agree.
Hi. All right, Brad.
Hi, darling. You all right?
So how have you, I mean, while you're here.
Oh, hang on a minute. Can you just give me 2 minutes? I've just walked back from the pub. I'm gagging for a pee.
You're live on TV, by the way.
Eh?
You're live on the internet, by
the way. Yeah. 2 minutes. Have a wee. I'll be back.
Okay. Brad.
This is my house.
Yeah. So, I mean, like sort of with Owen, who's autistic, I mean, that's an added stress on you, as well as having to deal with your own every day. You don't know how you're going to wake up from one morning to the next.
I mean, it's like, you know, when I went into hospital for my 3-week inpatient program to learn how to live with my FND, that was the first time I'd ever been away from the kids and like not being there for Owen to like look after him. So I was so scared. I knew they were going to be fine, but your anxiety's kicking and like, oh my God, you're in hospital. You can't be there to look after your own kids. And it's like you become that person. I've always looked after other people. And then when somebody else has to start looking after you, you don't become a very good patient. I'm not a very good patient. But probably.
You've had to learn to be.
Yeah, you have to, because your life, you know, like I said, Emily's had to learn to stop me from choking, because I would choke because I have so many bad muscle spasms when I'm having a seizure that I tend to choke. And then I can catch my breath. And she's had to learn to do that. And also like to make sure I don't smack my head on the floor, knock myself out and calm me down so that I'm in that zone.
And that must be frightening for somebody so young to see you go through that anyway as well.
Well, anybody seeing a family member or a friend going through that, all you want to do, you know, is help, don't you?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, they've kind of learned to let me get on with it, if you know what I mean, because with my seizures, the more they fuss over me, the worse they become.
Right. Okay.
So like, as long as I'm in a safe place and I can kind of self-calm, and ride it through, once it needs to come out, because
I'm back.
If you suppress it, it's just going to come out worse.
Yeah. We were just like discussing about like sort of how it's affected the family and how you've all had to adjust to Mandy's new life.
Yeah, well, what can you actually say? It's like there's no change. This is the new norm, isn't it? No, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. But never plan nothing. Spare of the moment only.
Yeah.
If you ever plan something, Mandy will either probably be in a seizure, Owen will be kicking off, Emily, well, yeah. No, it's a nightmare. You can never plan nothing. And well, it's true though.
The crazy in the whole household.
It is. If we were to spend thousands and thousands of pounds to go, say for a matter of speaking, all this COVID malarkey was to do one. We were going to go to Disneyland in Florida tomorrow. Just imagine that.
Yeah.
It would never ever happen.
No.
Well,
Owen would still be in bed. I'm not going. You'd be there kicking off. Well, you won't be kicking off. You'd probably be ticking like there's no tomorrow. But no, just can't do anything like that. So we're just like.
Well, I say never say never.
Why have you got your glasses on anyway?
Because I can't see otherwise.
You never wear
glasses. I wear my glasses because I can't.
If I do that, everything's blurry.
Yeah.
So that's why the dinner tastes like shit all the time.
Oh,
sorry. Oh, sorry.
Right.
Sorry.
I think you need to go.
Thank you, Brand.
Sorry.
Well, I didn't swear.
Yes,
I didn't
you
swear.
did.
You should wear your glasses more often. It makes you look more like intelligent.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but apart from that,
Right.
I'm just gonna like.
Thank you.
Go let the dog in.
So what kind of
Brad.
obviously when you were first diagnosed, what did they prescribe you, or what kind of test did they give you?
Just sedatives, diazepam, and a very, very strong. When we was talking about the one when I was in hospital, I think it was lorazepam, just sedatives. But I didn't want to be off my face all the time. I chose only to take them when I needed them.
Yeah.
And I've learned how to kind of control my seizures.
Yeah.
And I've not taken any since.
Right. Okay.
Because again, having a kid with a disability and autism, I don't want to be off my face all the time. And I will only take it if I really need it. I do take Parkinson's medication for my restless legs because it was becoming so bad of a nighttime I was beating hubby up. But yeah.
Was that involuntary or on purpose?
But yeah, it was bad and I wasn't sleeping. So but at the moment, regarding like my pain and stuff, because I have fibro as well, and obviously the osteoarthritis as well, nobody would treat me. I just get, the hospitals tend to only see the FND diagnosis and they're like, sorry, we can't treat you. And that's all I get at the moment. They won't see you in a pain management clinic because they see you as being too dangerous because of the involuntary movements. If you go to physio, if one of your triggers is pain and you go to a physio appointment and they trigger your pain, you're going to end up lashing out, not on purpose, but as it's an involuntary movement. I have headbutted a physio before, not on purpose, but because he was moving my hips and he was causing me pain in my back. Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, it's any triggers that are kind of so pain management have refused to treat me. So like I said,
so it's kind of you being led down a dead end road each time though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very much the same. It's really frustrating for us because the whole of the UK, there's very minimal FND services in our area, just in our area where we are, so we're under Torbay. There's nothing. The only service that's available is our charity service. There is one. There's an outpatient program in Exeter, but unless you have an EX postcode, you can't receive treatment. So basically, most of the hospitals, unless you have a local postcode, then you won't receive treatment.
Wow.
And they don't know enough about it, and GPs and medics don't know enough about it to understand it, to be able to treat it.
Yeah.
Even though it's been around for hundreds of years, it's still
So that
widely.
kind of leads me on to a bit, you actually did set up a petition, didn't you?
Yeah. I set it up last year, it was, I think, wasn't it? Last March, to try and get mandatory training put in place for GP surgeries.
Right.
Because the worst place you can be if you've got FND is a hospital.
Yeah.
There's so many triggers in a hospital, and so many people are being admitted to hospital with FND and going. It costs the NHS billions of pounds every year to give for people going into hospital, because they don't know how to live with their FND. They don't know what's causing it. There's people that's, can be paralyzed by it and stuff. But I think we were talking earlier on, wasn't we? The saying is that once people have been diagnosed, the sooner they get treatment, the sooner they can start to learn to live with it and get some kind of treatment pathway and become a bit more better. Not necessarily, it's not going to go away.
Yeah.
But to get treatment, the sooner they can kind of get better than what they were.
Yeah. And I suppose also is learning to understand what your own personal triggers are, because I believe everybody would be different with a lot of, like the same with a lot of other illnesses. So each person would be individual in what their own specific triggers are.
Yeah. I mean, I always say do like a symptoms diary, do a trigger diary, make notes, do videos, because this is your learning, isn't it? We're all still learning. We're not experts, but we have life experiences, and obviously we share our life experiences through the charity. But this is us helping each other and learning. Again, there's no manual for it. It's, like once you're diagnosed, they give you a bit of paper, say, here, go to this website, and that's it. And we know, we've been down the autism diagnosis with our kids, and it's the same. They're like, go to this website, they'll help. Yeah. And that's it. You're left out on a limb. So you go to seek whatever treatments you can find, don't you? Yeah. You go to seek, you seek alternative therapies, but that's the best thing, is because that can be right on your doorstep. Maybe.
Oh, you've just frozen.
Not for the, you can reach out to that through these support groups as well, through these charities and through lived experiences as well. Yeah. Because I was lucky enough to get on the treatment rehabilitation service at Bristol Rose Verdon Centre for 3 weeks.
What did that involve then?
So basically, it was cognitive behavioural therapy, so CBT, physio, neurophysio, did I say occupational therapy?
No.
Occupational therapy, meditation, lots of meditation, mindfulness meditation, lots of mindfulness stuff, and just learning about yourself, learning. It's like, go and have a mindfulness cup of coffee, go and sit there and think about what you're drinking and how you're feeling and what's going on around you, thinking about your sensories and what might be going on through your mind and stuff. Pacing yourself. Pacing is so important. And an afternoon nap, oh my God, it's so important. Afternoon naps are the best. If you do too much in the morning and you think, oh yeah, I'm having a good morning, and then the next minute you crash. So you need that nap. Yeah. No matter what, you need that nap. Even if people are like, oh, can you do this? You need to go and have a nap, because your body needs to rest. Your brain needs to rest, because otherwise you're only going to feed that FND to give yourself another attack. Yeah. And that's you controlling it. That's not the FND controlling you. That's you controlling your FND by taking a step back, by taking that rest that you need and acknowledging you need to rest. Yes. Because I never used to do that. I used to just be like, yeah, in your face.
Yeah. And I should imagine that's the same for a lot of people, regardless whether they're suffering with the same condition of you. Stress and anxiety And a lot of my stress and anxiety clients, they're exactly the same. If they don't, a lot of it is to do with denial. Part of it, they're still in denial that they've got anything wrong with them. So they're not learning how to manage their triggers, manage their stress. So they just burn out.
And that's it. They're not accepting it.
Yeah.
I mean, I did the CBT, and I mean, I had a lot of people say to me, "Oh, you're not on antidepressants and stuff." I was like, "Well, no, because I'm not depressed." And the doctors have said, "No, you're not depressed. You're quite, you kind of have your own mind. You know what's going on, and And again, I think mine was just acceptance and a bit of anxiety about not being that mum. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just, again, it's acceptance, isn't it? And just moving on. But once you can't move on until you've accepted that you need help. And then sometimes it's asking for that help as well, because it's like your body. With my FND, it's my body's way of kind of putting up a defense mechanism.
Right.
It's me saying, like, if you don't rest, then this is going to happen. It's like, oh, you're not resting, you're going to crash, and then you can't move your arms, your legs won't work, your feet tingle, your arms don't work, you lose your speech. And it's like that wall, and it's finding that trigger that's triggering this defense mechanism in your body.
Yeah. Cool. So what, going back to your petition, is it still running? Is it still ongoing?
I think so. So I know this sounds really what's it, but the one I did it on that Change.org, and for some reason there's so many people viewed it, and we've shared it God knows how many times, but there's like nobody's signing it, and I'm like, I need to sign it. There has been one that has gone to the government, and they've come back with loads of excuses as usual. But yeah, it needs to, I mean, just keep sharing and signing. But that's all we can do. I mean, the best thing about our FND, the only way, like for us, the best thing is awareness.
Yeah.
Because if we can't get the treatment, we need awareness. Because that is key. So awareness to hospitals, awareness to other people, understanding what we're going through. It's like, you can't understand what somebody goes through until you're living it yourself.
Yeah.
And like what we're trying to teach these medics as well. How do you teach somebody about seizures and stuff? You can do your first aid and stuff, but there's nothing that says about functional movements and loss of you don't always, if somebody has a functional seizure, it doesn't mean they need to go to hospital. They may just need a bit of time to come round and a bit of time to rest.
Yeah.
And just understanding that, because otherwise, if they don't know anything about it, then they're probably going to end up in hospital, and then they're going to end up feeling worse.
Yeah. But you're doing something really kind of inspiring as well, because I mean, obviously you've agreed to come on here tonight to hopefully put that awareness out there. But you also got really involved with, is it FND Friends, your charity?
It's FND Friends.
Yeah, would you like to
I'm getting the wrong way. I get confused enough as it is. That's another thing with like the FND, memory problems, cognitive issues is a massive issue. There's some people that are living with FND, they forget what they've done in the morning. They wake up and they forget who they are.
Yeah.
There's there's another, a symptom of like, it's like dementia, we've got, it's awful. Emily, she's so But yeah, FND Friends, because so FND Friends was set up in 2016, and their base is in Bristol. And obviously, when I was diagnosed, I went looking, because that's the first thing you do. You go looking for that help.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to find something. I need to, find something. And this was the local charity to me. Yeah. So I contacted them, and they arranged for somebody to meet me and Brad for coffee. And it was the best thing ever. It was so lovely to find out that you're not the only person around, and that you're not nuts.
Yeah.
There's other people that are just completely crazy like you, not purposely, but
Yeah.
and it's become a family. It's become amazing, like I said, because there's nothing local, there's no services. I wanted us to put something in place, and I volunteered to set this up through FND Friends with their support. So we now have a local support centre just down the road, which is amazing, because it's given me my life back, because I couldn't work. So it's given me that opportunity to work and help others again. But we've had people. We had our first coffee morning yesterday, and we've been set up a year now in local.
So where are you based?
We're at Chudley Night in Village Hall in Devon. It's just down the road. Literally, I can go down on my scooter. 2 minutes away, so I haven't got to take the bus to work or anything. And you can just drop in or give us a call and just want to chat. Just that's what it is. We've got a Facebook group as well, private Facebook group, so you can talk privately with people and share your experiences, because it's very scary, because you don't know what's going on and you think, oh my god. But it's like a family, and it's the feeling you get from helping people, and you get people coming to you and they cry because they're so happy that you're there. It's like a relief. And it's just, like I said, you get your diagnosis and then you get sent away.
Yeah, and you feel abandoned.
Yeah. So we're now having, because we talk to hospitals, they are referring people to us for help. So we are the only local FND service.
Yeah.
And we cover the whole of the southwest of England. So the counties down here are massive, aren't they? So if you think about how many GP surgeries, how many hospitals there is in the southwest alone, that's huge. I mean, there's no services in Cornwall. There's no service. There's one service in Exeter, but you can only receive it if you live in Exeter. And then there's one service in Bristol that's really, really difficult to get into. And then there's nothing in Dorset or Somerset, really. So there's no outreach patients programs or nothing.
So really you need that to change, don't you?
Yeah, and this is what we're doing. We're working with the hospitals to help them set up services for FND patients.
Cool. And it's nice that you, like you said, people see you as a little family. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know, sort of going back to Samara with her bipolar, she felt very much alone.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's with any new diagnosis, you feel alone until you meet others of the same and join and find out. And I mean, going back to our children, I learned more from other parents.
Exactly.
About Oliver's, sort of things that were open to us for help, but the medical staff didn't pass that on. I found more information from other parents at the unit that we used to go to than I did from the medical staff. So yeah, it's really important that you have that connectivity.
You need that support for yourself. You need it for the
Yeah.
family. It's for the family as well, you know. It's not just for the patient, it's for the carers and the family as well.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand it. And it's, again, like with FND, there's no physical, there's no like structural signs in the brain to say that there's anything wrong.
Yeah.
Which is why a lot of people make assumptions that it's not real. But how, like I said, you've seen the videos. Why would you make that up?
Yeah.
Why would you, you know, again, you know, and I know there's like a stigma around mental health, but as they say, it's good to talk, and it really is good to talk, you know. And if mental health is one of your triggers for FND, it's not necessarily the trigger, but it definitely can affect your mental health. I mean, like I said, you're going from being physically fit to being completely disabled.
Yeah.
It's gonna mess with your head, isn't it? And I know there's a book out there that's called "It's All in Your Head." Well, yeah, it is all in your head.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It certainly is. But it's good to talk, and that's what we're there for. We're there to speak to openly, and you know, just it's just to put the world to rights, and sometimes you just need that. But also going out again socially and meeting other people, you don't feel so like looked at or stared at, or you know, because there's other people that know exactly what you're going through and completely understand.
Yeah.
And they're not gonna look at you weird, say, oh my God, look what's going on over there, you know. And I think again there's a bit of a stigma when you're poorly, you don't want people asking questions and stuff, do you?
Yeah. No. Well, it's not just asking questions, it's people staring, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because
definitely.
you're not acting in a normal way, or you look different, you know.
Yeah. I mean, unless like got a big banner on saying "Don't worry, she's not drunk."
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I don't need to have a drink to look drunk. It's just, it is what it is. But yeah, like I said, it's nice to be around other people that are going through the same and understand.
Yeah.
Because if you're having a bad day, you're having a bad day. If you know, I know, like Brad was saying earlier on, you can't make plans. You can make plans, but if the plans don't go to plan, it is what it is. You know, you can't odds it. It is what it is. That's just how it works.
So would you, being personal, when you wake up in the morning, would you automatically know if you're going to have a good or a bad day?
Sometimes I will wait. I fell out of bed the other day, so that was a bad day. Sometimes I wake up and I can wake up and I have a seizure. That will wake me up and I'll be having a seizure. I tend to tick all day long. So nobody has a good day. There's no good days with FNDs. There's just not so bad days.
Bad days,
You get what I mean? So if I wake up and I'm like, oh, my feet are really tingling and I get like jelly legs and they feel numb, I'm thinking, this is a really bad day and I need to be in a wheelchair.
Right.
So because if the more I'm on my feet, the more likely my seizures are going to come on. Okay. So well, like today I'll be like, I'm okay, I'm not too bad. So I'll be moving around. Later I will probably crash.
Yeah.
But it's knowing your limits. But yeah, there's no day's a good day, but there's better days.
Better days, yeah.
There's better days. And again, I've said, I mean, like I said, I've gone from having those multiple seizures to leaving them behind in the hospital, to learning how to using meditation and mindfulness and relaxing. Yeah. To kind of like think, right, okay, I need to take a break. 15 minutes, okay, move away, go and take some time out, or go and have a walk it off, think about it, come back and start fresh. And that's I've left those seizures behind. So I'm like, that's an achievement for me, but I still have the other things. So yeah. But I said, I count myself lucky. I feel that I'm lucky because I know a lot of people who are so poorly that they can't walk. They've been in wheelchairs for years and years because they have no use of their legs. They've had issues with they have urine infections, they have catheters, they have bowel problems. That because of the muscle spasms, the constant muscle spasms they're completely wrecking your insides, because it's not just it's not just your arms and your legs, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
You have throat spasms. I think my worst is like when I have my head ticks and I start having a seizure, I give myself whiplash. So it's like it kind of, if it's not one thing, it's something else. So if you're in pain, my triggers is pain. So if I'm in pain, I'm ticking, but then when I'm ticking, I'm causing more pain.
Yeah.
So it's trying to find the root cause. But yeah, it's just like I said, I count myself lucky. But there was days where I could I'd rather, you do get those days where, like, again, the mental health kicks in and you think, this is just so bad. Why am I causing this much stress on my family? And you're not. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But you just, and then you take the positives out of each day.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing you can do. And that's every illness and every problem.
Yeah. So if there's somebody watching this either now with us now or maybe at a later time on replay, if they come across this and they were newly diagnosed, what would your best bit of advice be to them?
If they're newly diagnosed, come and find us. Don't be a stranger and don't hide and ask for help, because as soon as you get that help, the sooner you can start feeling better, because that's key, acceptance. But look for that group, find that group. There's lots of groups out there. There's not just FND Friends, there's FND Dimensions, FND Action. There's quite a few FND groups on Facebook, but just come find them. They're so chatty that they're private groups, so you can talk and you can share experiences. Don't be scared to ask questions. And if you are worried, don't be scared to ask for a second opinion. Do a symptoms diary, pace yourself, and just, again, like, if you've been, you tend to look for anything that will help you, don't you? But go find that support first, because we're there, and a lot of us have all been through it, and we can help.
And if they're local to us, Newton Abbot,
come find me.
How often does your little group at Chudley Knighton meet up?
Well, we're there every Monday and Tuesday. We do we'll do video chats if somebody needs a video call and they're distressed. We've only just started doing meetups again. But Mondays we're open 9 till 3. No. Mondays we're 10 till 3. Tuesdays we're 10 till 1. But there's always somebody there. If you can go to info@fndfriends.com for an email and they will message you, or go to our website and go to fndfriends.com, and somebody will always answer you or message us. There's always somebody there. That we've got roughly 30 volunteers working for the charity, up and down the whole of the southwest. There's facilitators everywhere. Just come and join the family. It's just amazing. I said that we are FND Friends, and it is what it is. It's his namesake, isn't it? But like I said, we're all a bit crazy and all a little bit special. But there's no judgments. Just we are who we are.
If anybody would like to donate to the charity,
there is a donate button on there as well. You can donate through PayPal.
Okay.
fndfriends.com.
Maybe afterwards you can send me maybe all the links to the charity.
Yeah, I was going to see if I could. I don't know. There's no thing for me to comment, is there?
No, there isn't. I can't comment either. So So if you send me all the links, I will paste them onto the link of this one on the Facebook page. But what I normally do is after I upload it to my YouTube channel, so I can add all the links to the YouTube.
Bubblegums. Sorry. That's not a rude one. That's okay.
So if you do that, I will upload it all to my YouTube channel and then share you the link to the YouTube channel. That's
Brilliant.
it.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's welcome.
We get sharing.
Yeah, get sharing. Yeah.
I think we've had lots. There's been lots of people watching. So hello.
Good.
I don't know how many does it say on the top left hand. Does it say on your thing?
It's gone down to 5 now, but it was up higher than it normally is. But yeah, I also get a lot following me on YouTube, so that will get more of a reach as well. So before we say goodbye to Mandy, is there anybody that would like to ask any questions out there? Just wait a while. While we're waiting.
Hi, Mandy. Oh, sorry. Sorry, my phone's. I'm getting like loads of other messages.
Ah, right. Okay. All right. What I would like to say while we wait, if there is any questions coming up, this is actually the last session in this series of An Evening With. So this would be, I've been doing this over the last 7 weeks, interviewing people like Mandy, who are living with a condition or have overcome a condition that they would like to bring more awareness to. But also I've been interviewing other therapists like myself to showcase how they can help on a holistic side, other than like sort of or complementary to medical diagnoses and medications that they may be taking. We work on a holistic side. So when we say holistic, we're working on the whole of the body, not just the symptom. So if there is anybody like that out there listening, whether you are a therapist or a medical professional that would like to come on board for our next series, then please contact me at either Rainbow's End Therapies at yahoo.co.uk, or you can get me on Facebook again at Rainbow's End Therapies, or myself, Dawn Hall. So as on here, I can't see no more questions. So I would really like to wish you all the best, Mandy.
Thank you. I want to speak soon.
Going through, how you've actually cut, pushing yourself forward, and actually like sort of helping other people along their journey and discovering themselves, because I suppose it is like a rediscovery of yourself, isn't it? Your new you.
It is. It is. You're moving on, but you need to accept that to be able to move on, to be able to kind of live your life, because yeah, you can't move on until you've done that.
Anyway, all the best.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll say goodbye to everybody else. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Bye.